If you're thinking about selling your home, you've probably heard so many agents say the same thing. We use social media to market our listings. But here's the question that most sellers are really afraid to ask. Does social media actually sell homes? Or is it just noise? Today I want to walk you through how social media really works when it comes to selling a home. Like, what platforms should you be on, why we film listing videos the way that we do, and why having a team that truly understands social media and works in it every single day can directly impact your sale price and your time on market. Because in today's market, attention isn't optional. It is absolutely everything. And here's why. The way that buyers find homes has completely changed. Yes, MLS, it still matters. And yes, Realtor.ca still matters. But what's really interesting is that most buyers don't start there anymore like they used to. They start scrolling. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. They're not actively searching, they're discovering. And that's a really huge shift in how buyers' behavior has changed over the last few years. At Woolcott Real Estate, we've seen firsthand that social media, it doesn't replace traditional marketing, but it does create that demand before buyers even book a showing. With social media, your home isn't competing with other listings. People aren't scrolling past other things, but it is competing with everything else on someone's screen. And the homes that stop that incessant scroll, those are the homes that get shown. So if you aren't familiar with social media for marketing, it's really important to know that not all platforms work the same way. And this is where a comprehensive strategy really matters. For us, Instagram and Facebook Reels are incredibly powerful because they help us create fast, emotional impressions, which is exactly what we're trying to do when we're trying to get a buyer to book a showing. They are designed to show the flow, the lifestyle, and how a home feels when you're in it. With TikTok, it's different. It's really algorithm driven, meaning that your home can be shown to people who don't follow you, and sometimes tens of thousands of them. And it's really luck of the draw when we're working on trying to get those viral videos. And YouTube, that plays a longer game. It captures buyers who are in that research phase. They're planning, they're getting serious, but they're not quite ready to make a jump yet. So at Woolcott, we don't just post listings, we distribute them intentionally across platforms based on how buyers actually are consuming the content. Simply put, the more places that your home appears, the more opportunities that buyers have to fall in love with it. One of the questions we get from sellers is why we film our reels so fast. And I can understand why this can be confusing. You might watch your listing video and think, why was this so fast? I love this part of the kitchen. Or did they even show every single bedroom? And I get it, but here's the honest truth. We are not filming for the perfect cinematic video. We're filming for social performance. Social platforms reward retention. If someone watches the first 3 seconds of a video, that video is going to get shown to more and more people. So how do we do that? Fast pacing, quick cuts, and a really solid hook, those help to keep a viewer watching longer, and that creates reach. At Woolcott Real Estate, we are filming for the buyer who hasn't booked a showing yet, who hasn't fallen in love with the home yet, not just the homeowner who already knows the space. The goal here for us isn't to show everything, it's really to make buyers want more and to give us a call to get in the door. So why does your agent, who is mastering the negotiating for you and dealing with the sale, need to understand social media? So there's a really big difference between using social media and understanding how it actually works. Posting a video isn't a strategy, but understanding hooks, trends, timings, captions, and honestly, buyer psychology is. So at Woolcott, we want our agents to be really focusing on getting the sale done. And that's why we have a full in-house marketing team whose job it is to stay ahead of how platforms change, because they do change constantly. What worked 6 months ago, 3 months ago, 2 weeks ago may not work today because the channels are always changing and the algorithms we're always catching up to. Social media isn't luck, it's pattern recognition to get success. When it's done properly, it creates momentum that traditional marketing simply can't do alone. Because the platforms change so much, we have to be very careful when we're making video to make sure that it works for the platform and not for personal preference. And I honestly find this is one of the hardest parts for many of the homeowners we work with. And I say this with total and absolute respect, because sometimes the feature that you love most about your home isn't what performs best online. Sometimes a room gets less screen time than you expect, and sometimes the focus feels different than your personal favorites. And that's because the algorithm decides what works, not us. At Woolcott Real Estate, we always try to explain this up front because our job isn't to market a home the way that we like, It's to market it the way that buyers will respond to in the market. Your favorite feature may not always be the buyer's emotional trigger, but we know how to find out what it is. Another question we get asked a lot is, does social media actually turn into real offers? And I'd like to say yes. Here's what usually happens behind the scenes. A buyer sees a reel when they're scrolling on their couch. They save it, or maybe they send it to their partner or a friend to check out and get their expertise on. And then they're scrolling again and they recognize their home when it hits their feed again and again and again. So by the time they pick up the phone and book a showing, they're already emotionally invested. They feel like they know the house. At Woolcott, we regularly see buyers walk in a home saying, I've already seen this online. I can't wait to see the bathroom, or the backyard is really what I'm looking forward to. And that familiarity creates confidence with the buyer, and we all know that confidence creates offers. So social media definitely does not replace the showing. It warms it up. It gets them ready to take action. Every home deserves a marketing strategy that fits today's market and not one from 5 years ago. If you're thinking about selling in the Hamilton-Burlington area and want to understand how social media would be used specifically for your home, I'm always happy to walk you through it so you understand every step. Because when attention is done right, everything else gets easier and we can get a too late sign on your home.